Hello, hello, hello.
Hey guys.
Morning.
So
Great week.
we kind of want to discuss Facebook as a new way of looking at it, the concept of looking at it as a CRM.
This is something we actually talk about at the office a lot. We always say that Facebook is the new CRM or a living database per se. But we want to break down some of those concepts and see what you guys think. Feel free to engage, comment below. Love to hear your input as well. Obviously, the majority of you are probably using it more for lead generation, but it can be and is so much more than that.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the start.
So really, there's two ways to look at it. You're going to be looking at it from the business page side. You're going to be looking at it from your personal side. And I think it's great to see that the business side of things is really just for that. You're going out there, you're creating the opportunity to run ads specifically to pull in new people that you've never met before. And then they're going to be people who are liking your page, and they're going to be people who follow your page. But the important piece that I like to see is actually on the personal side. And I think a lot of people neglect that piece because that's where it actually becomes the most important CRM that you have.
Yeah, and I think what's so fascinating is if you think about your CRM that you have today, and I mean, you can take it all the way back. Some of you, pardon me, I'm losing my voice. Oh man,
Drink some coffee.
I have to drink some. Sorry about that, I lost my voice. Some of you are still using an Excel spreadsheet, right? Others of you are using maybe like Contactually or Follow-Up Boss or whatever it may be. But what you don't know in all of those CRMs is what's going on behind the story with those leads. All you see is a name. Maybe they've opened an email. That's about it, right? That's all you're really seeing. And there's so much more that can be done. Like when you're on Facebook, if you have all those leads on Facebook, you can see, are they going on vacation? Did they just buy, something new for their home? Did they buy something new for their family? Are their kids going to school?
Mutual friends, interests, where they're from, right? Like, are they married? I mean,
it's everything. Life events, anything changing? Did something tragic happen in their life? Whatever it may be, Facebook is when you're looking at your CRM, you're just seeing a name or an email address or phone number. When you're looking at Facebook and you relate that information to Facebook, you can see everything that's going on in their life.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you can pull into Facebook, and oftentimes too, what people don't see is you can actually, a lot of people will connect to their Instagram, their Twitter, whatever other LinkedIn, all their other feeds. So at the end of the day, like there's massive opportunity just to kind of start, I would say, building a social profile around this person. But even with Facebook, like we talked the other week, is you can start now creating lists specifically to the type of people you want to get in front of or would like to engage. So when I use that example is on Facebook, for example, you're going to have, like, we have this old outdated thought that it's only being used for friends and family. Like,
right.
And I get that, but now things have changed and shifted. So you can still be getting in front of your friends and family, and you create a list of your friends and family of specifically of those you only want that personal stuff that you share with, whether it's things that have to do with your values and your faith, or maybe just your kids, pictures like that, things that you wouldn't care for everybody to see. I don't know how much transparency you like to have, but then you can create lists specific to your clients. And so those could be past client lists, so you're staying in touch with them. Those could be current buyers that you're working with lists, so you want to know where they're going, what they're looking at specifically. It could be current or future homeowners that you think that you might be listing with in the future. They maybe gave you some time frame. It could be people, if you're doing, let's say you're doing lead generation with StreetText, for example, it could be partial leads that you haven't been in touch with yet. The key is you always want to look at it as the opportunity. If you can find out who they are, if the email has been collected, and even if the email hasn't been collected, we'll talk about this too, because you, in many cases, can pull open tax records and simply send a friend request. And if they accept it, you now have this homeowner who potentially has raised their hand saying, I might be interested in selling in the future.
And you can pull them into your world.
And you can start building that know, like, and trust model. Create a list of that for just partial leads. And we can, message us here if you want us to elaborate a little bit more on it, because we won't get too far into it. But long story short is you can start categorizing these leads and lists almost like a pipeline.
Within Facebook.
And then, as you log into your Facebook every day, it could be like, today I'm going to engage with X amount of people in each amount of lists. And that just means you're going to comment on their post. You're going to show them that you're liking what's happening on in their world. And it's not simultaneously, if you comment on them, there's a good chance that they'll go to your profile. And so you make sure what you're posting in your profile is consistent with building your brand, is consistent with your values, anything that you'd want them to see about you.
Yeah, so I think if I was going to put this into a nutshell of like actionable items, one of the things that frustrates me so much about Facebook is I see the same people, and probably you do too. It's almost like the same people posting. It's the same small group of people that I seem to see content. And you don't have to see it that way. You don't have to rely on Facebook's algorithm anymore. If you break down your friends into lists, like Marcus said, so you could have your friends and family list, you could have your leads list, you could have your buyers list, you could have your, your A clients, like your repeating referrals. That's what I would do. And then if I broke those down into those different segments, when I start my day, if I'm going to look at Facebook, I would actually view those lists. And what happens is that Facebook completely reorganizes its news feed for that list. So for instance, if you did your A clients, and you got maybe say 100 of your clients in there that you just know that if you just pour into these 100 people, you're going to get a lot of referrals, you're going to get a lot of repeat business, and you want to stay top of mind with these 100 people. You start your day, you look at that list, Facebook reorganizes, you see all their content, you maybe see some stuff that they're posting back and forth, you engage on that. You might have missed that post prior because it maybe went through your newsfeed, or maybe you were Facebook had unalgorithmized that per se, so you didn't see it. But now you see it, you engage, great. Like Marcus said, they might come back and engage on your content, great. And then maybe what you could do is you could organize your buyer leads list. Now maybe you got a few hundred buyer leads, or maybe even 50, or maybe even 10 people in there. It'll just quickly show you any content on them. So this buyer lead thinks, wow, what a thoughtful realtor. They're looking at my feed, they're engaging in my feed. So you can literally just organize your day on Facebook as a living CRM by engaging the different parts of your business that you really want to drive forward. Exactly. Whereas, and then at the end of the night, if you, or in the middle of the day or whatever, and you want to just stay in touch with your friends and family, or upload a photo or an Instagram post of having lunch with your kids, you can then just, when you click post, you can just say, show it to my friends and family list. Or you can show it to everybody. The point is that if you understand how to break Facebook up into the CRM component, it's so much more powerful than what you're probably getting access to today. And I think if it's done right, it allows you to be hyper-focused on the different segments of your business that you want to drive forward.
Exactly. And I think it's fun too. Then you can start having fun with what you're posting. You should create call to actions. Mm-hmm. You might be doing a $25 gift card giveaway with Starbucks to particularly a certain segment that you want to get in front of, or you're kind of trying to get them to take action. Yes. Yeah. Also, though, remember too, once they're your friend, you now can use the messenger component, and messenger is almost like it's almost like BombBomb in the sense that when you send a message to somebody, one, you can track if it's been seen, but two, you can send it as a video, right, which is huge and powerful. And I've showed people how to do it with the whiteboard too, because the first thing seen is whatever you want them to see initially. Or you can send it from your phone, and I know it's not on the computer feature, but you're from your phone as a audio text, so like a voicemail.
And Facebook Messenger has an open rate like text messages. Mm-hmm. It's very high. Unlike often email, which we're big believers in email. We believe that email is very, very powerful and will have a long lifespan. It's combining these other tools into your business as well. And obviously, when you send a text messages, I know for me, I'm going to 100% open every text message I get because I'm just scrolling through them. But it's the same with Messenger. If I see I got a notification on my phone from Facebook, I click on it, I go to Messenger, I see the notification.
Now let's take it one step further, because if you actually look into where else you can go into Facebook, now you can even create a community group. Mm-hmm. And if all those people that you're getting as leads, you now put them in some sort of community where it's all about I'm just taking a guess here. It's all about what's going on in the community, things that they can do, favorite businesses. Oh, yeah. You can start now positioning yourself as more than a realtor. It could be very valuable content in them, and they go there just to see what's happening in town. And
I think there's huge value depending on what kind of neighborhood you live in. So you'd have to be specific. Like if it's maybe a certain area, you could do something that's like a neighborhood watch, whatever. But if it's a family neighborhood, I'd be listing and talking about all like the kindergartens or like the preschools in that neighborhood. Yeah. I'd be talking about family events that might be taking place or just outside of the community. I'd be talking about like anything that'd be happening in that community.
In the park,
right? Or whatever it may be. Like you said, some of the little hidden gems that people didn't maybe realize. Maybe there's some hiking spots. And then updates about then I would, as a real estate agent, I'd just be updating the entire neighborhood on market updates as well, which people find valuable. And I think if it's done right and you start this group, and I know we're like going on a tangent, but the point is that it's a living CRM, is that what happens is that if you create value, let's say you created a group, like we live in Kelowna, let's say we created a group in West Kelowna, and we start talking about it, and we start adding people that we know that live in the community. And if they get value, they're going to start adding their neighbors. And I would say that there's probably a significant pain point for neighbors where they either don't really know each other that well, or they don't know who's around. And what an amazing place if you could actually bring the community together, provide value and content. I mean, once you own that neighborhood on the Facebook group, I don't care what real estate agent has got their signs up there, you own the neighborhood, right? Like you become the trusted professional, you become the person that can just ask a question to in Facebook.
100%.
There's so many powerful things that you can do. I mean, we're big believers still in direct mail and all those other great ideas. I mean, that's a great idea. But just think about this. If you create a Facebook group, it costs you nothing but your time. If it's done right and you pour into it and you say, over the next 12 months, like 2019, I'm going to just dedicate a certain amount of time every week to building up my Facebook group, my neighborhood group, and you go for it. At the end of the year, you might have hundreds of people in that group that are getting value, that are communicating with you. And it doesn't matter which realtor is sending stuff to those homeowners, you own the community. It's your community. And so, I mean, these are the kinds of things you can do on Facebook. And I think what a special time for real estate agents.
I think there's another side of people too. I mean, it helps them see you as more than just a realtor. Like when I think of Emily Chang, for example, she's just one of the realtors that has done this, and she's created that group, Accelerate Success. And it's just shows her and position her as more than a realtor, as someone who just loves helping people, giving them, all this
especially on the financial growth, side, right? Like
Yeah.
if you followed Emily or you're in one of her groups, you'd start thinking, wow, I'm gonna start, if I have a financial question, you're gonna go to Emily. You're gonna ask her about, a whole bunch of different things, and that in itself is a great way just to build trust, relationship, and who knows where that goes. And then of course, real estate.
Yeah, so there is, and we could probably go in and spend another 20 minutes just talking about all the things you could do with Facebook. I mean, it's fun. I enjoy it. So we'll continue to have this topic, but we'll say, if you want more information, let us know. Comment below. If you haven't enrolled in our free course on how to make $1 million in commissions on online leads without having to pick up the phone, check that out, because that's a special course in itself.
Yeah, and these, just what we talked about today, are great ways of literally building a relationship without having to traditionally just pick up the phone. You're essentially bringing people to you.
Yes.
So yeah, enroll in that course. If you like this content, please hop out of our YouTube channel, hit subscribe, or click like on this video. Comment below if you'd like more information, if you like this kind of content. It helps us create it. Or feel free to ask us any other questions. If there's something you want us to cover, just comment below and let us know.
Have a great day.
Have a great rest of your day.